Welcome back, everybody, here to the Postgame pod on the Auburn Undercover YouTube channel. Nathan King here with Patrick Bingham in beautiful Birmingham, Alabama. For the second time in the span of a week, Patrick, Auburn plays very heavy quotes, neutral site game. As Bruce Pearl pointed out postgame, as hopefully the audio is all right, they're changing something up for the court here. As Bruce Pearl pointed out postgame, this will not be a home crowd advantage for Auburn next year when they play Purdue in Indianapolis. It certainly was today. More than 15,000 fans, mostly orange and blue, as Auburn beats down Purdue 87-69. Patrick, for a lot of different reasons, I think this was one of Auburn's most impressive performances of the entire season. They now get to 6 quad one games, but everyone was focused on Johni Broome, and it was pretty clear in the first couple minutes of the game he was right as rain, 23 points and 11 boards. And again, Auburn rolls through him and gets another big win, except it was against the number 16 team in the country, and Auburn just kind of treats these games like any other at this point. We're sort of expecting double-digit wins from them.
Yeah, I mean, I heard someone say it was almost like a paycheck game, and that is crazy. A top 30 KenPom team, number 16 team in the country. Broome talked about his shoulder postgame, said it was a little sore, but, I mean, Pearl was pretty adamant most of postgame that Broome wanted to play no matter what. Broome said he felt no pressure of having to do that because his teammates said they had him, but he went out, looked totally fine, obviously had he's had 8 20-plus point or 20-point double-doubles, or I think it's 7, and all 7 have come against the quad one opponents, which is unreal. But yeah, I mean, a huge crowd for Auburn, very loud, and I think overall it just further cements, for now, and of course you're remembered for what you do in March, but for now, they're the best team in the country.
Yeah, absolutely, and we'll talk about that, I guess, now. I mean, Monday, as we record this here, late Saturday night, Monday is when the AP poll is going to come out. Like you mentioned, that's not the focus for this team. AP polls, you don't hang banners for AP polls, but they've been flirting with that top spot here, even after the Duke loss, been flirting with it for a few weeks. Tennessee is number 1 right now. All they did I'm going to say all they did. They beat the tar out of West Carolina, but that's all they did. That's the only team they beat this week. Auburn continues to bolster what is the best resume in the country. The fact they've got 6 quad one wins is just insane. Nobody else in the country has more than 3. And again, Auburn builds on what is one of, if not the best resume in the country. Now, at this point, talking about this game in particular, kind of a back and forth at the beginning, 2 really potent offenses. But Patrick, the defense for Auburn, again, the offense is what's going to get on the highlight reels. Yes. There were, 5 or 6 breakaway dunks there in the second half that got the crowd on their feet. But boy, the defense is what really does it for them. Bruce Pearl talked about Braden Smith as one of the best point guards in the country. Denver Jones continues to be, I think, one of the more underrated players in all of college basketball because his defense and again, turning defense into offense is what this team does, and they put that on display today.
Yeah, and I mean, Pearl said post-game, and he said it in different iterations, basically this entire non-conference run of our defense is going to control our destiny. I forget how he said it today, but it was something along those lines. And I mean, you see that, you see watching these games, like how bought in the guards, every single player is. And I mean, the defense was stifling today, a bunch of blocks. Purdue, when they've lost in these last couple of years, when they've been on their historic run, 2 straight number 1 overall seeds, played in the national championship game last year, it's been turnovers that have struggled. They had 12 turnovers today. And so it's just that defense that continually puts them in position to win.
Yeah, another assist to turnover. This is what Auburn's defense does. Assist to turnovers, if you are playing Auburn, are not good. It was right on the money. It was 12-12. Today, Braden Smith was 3 of 12 from the floor in this game. Kaufman Wren for Purdue was another guy. Bruce Pearl said he might be the best scoring big in the Big Ten. Auburn did a really good job of slowing him down on the inside. And, I kind of got to thinking about it post-game. Mentioned the point guard situation, Smith being potentially the best point guard in the country, Bruce Pearl thinks. It wasn't 3.5 weeks ago that Auburn, they didn't have questions about point guard, but they're just wondering what was going to happen with Pegues. They're wondering how many more minutes Todd Pettiford needed to play. 33 combined points for him and Denver Jones. Todd Pettiford continues to show up in these kinds of spots. Really, again, we're getting another look at, because Miles Kelly and Chaney Johnson, maybe okay games. Chad Baker-Mazara steps up. This team has the depth to make up for that against really anybody in the country. And so now, Patrick, again, we go into an interesting stretch here, 9 days off for this team. We heard Bruce Pearl and Johni talk about it post-game, like they're on break. Like they've got their bags packed. They're going to do different stuff. And so that will be interesting for Johni's shoulder rehab. Should be good. I would expect if he played today, I would expect to be able to play against Monmouth on the 30th. But again, Patrick, it's wild to me that we sit here and Auburn only has one loss in the non-conference. I mean, in preseason, we were looking at this non-conference schedule.
Can you survive?
Like, yeah, can you get out with 3 or 4? I mean, my number was like 3.5.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, over under 3.5. How many losses are they going to take? The fact that the only one you're going to have, no disrespect to Monmouth, it's still a game they got to get through, but I believe that's the lowest rated team on their entire schedule in terms of Ken Palm. And so you never know. So the fact that you get out of it with only a loss at Duke, absolutely tremendous. You're still looking at Auburn as the projected number 1 overall seed. Right now, SEC play is going to be a gauntlet. It's the best the league has ever been, but Auburn has put itself in a tremendous position heading into what is going to be a really tough league schedule.
Yeah, and I think that was the thing, like, coming into the season, it was like, okay, like, you've seen Alabama was a great example of this last year of, like, losing big games like this doesn't hurt your resume, but winning them is huge. And so to have all of these already in your back pocket, I mean, is just insane. But, I mean, just to put in perspective, because, I mean, I would imagine you watched the game. If you didn't, you're like, oh, Auburn won by 18. They've been doing that a lot. And 18 is a big number against the number 16 team in the country.
Could have been more.
Purdue went on an 11-0 run to end the game. I mean, Auburn was up 20+. Fun fact, Purdue, I think they'd won 24 straight games with the 10-0 run. So that streak gets snapped for them. But it was just until Auburn put in, some other players at the end of the game, just a completely dominant performance.
Yeah, like you said, the walk-ons and the scout team players were able to get in. Obviously, Auburn did enough for it to be an impressive margin of victory, but didn't really care about what happened there at the end. 87-69, extremely impressive result for Auburn today against the number 16 team in the country. We will see on Monday if this is the number 1 team in the country, and then you would expect that ranking to probably hold. Will Auburn be number 1 beginning SEC play? I mean, it really is a phenomenal spot that this team has put itself in going into what is likely going to be the best conference in the country this season. For Patrick Bingham, I am Nathan King. Thank you guys so much for watching the postgame pod. Hopefully the audio was okay. We'll get out of here. Now, is there? I don't know what they're doing on the court.
Should have done it on the forklift.
On the forklift. It's no liability issues or anything like that. Thank you guys so much for joining us, and we'll talk to y'all later.